there are still these challenges and concerns about where the U.S. economy will go from here. And we do look at what Joe Biden has in his plans. And one of those things has been his idea about reshoring. He's still into that idea. It's a very Trump-era idea, this idea of bringing manufacturing back to America. He's seen the gaps in supply chains and the impact that it has on the U.S. economy. And he says he wants to redirect those supply chains. Can he do it, and should he do it?
Well, I think he's going to give it a try, because for political and economic reasons it makes sense, and he's not the only government. What he will try to do is bring reshoring back to the U.S., and for some companies that will work, but for many companies that will not work. The reason that they are globalized is because it suits their business processes. Whether they're making goods or services or they're engaged in investments, they are globalized for a reason. And when you then say to a firm, I want you to stop that, it's harder than people think, and often impossible to actually just pick up a factory and move it back to the U.S. The math doesn't work, the skills aren't there, the costs go too high, et cetera. And so it's just harder than people imagine to reshore a supply chain.
What concerns you most about where the U.S. economy will go from here?
Well, I think we're not out of the pandemic. I think we have a very challenging domestic political situation in the U.S. It's very polarized. We've got a Congress that's fairly dysfunctional. So there's politics that are a problem. The COVID remains a problem, and then the economy is doing much better, but that doesn't mean that it will stay doing much better. And then finally, although I think this administration would like to say, we will wait for the rest of the world until we're ready, the rest of the world doesn't wait for the United States. And so you have to engage on policies that you may not really want to deal with today. And so I think there's a range of risks actually attached to a Biden administration, even though they've done well for their first 100 days.
To wrap up, Victor, what does the first 100 days of Joe Biden's presidency tell us about the direction that he's taking? And what would your overall scorecard be on what he's achieved?
I think what we have seen really from the Biden first 100 days is a clear direction. Strategic goals has been made in terms of engagement around the world, but more so with the domestic policies. They've really focused on what they have promised during the election time. So we're seeing this economic recovery with their COVID response.
Sang-Woon, what would you hope to see on Biden's agenda, specifically in regards actions he may take vis-a-vis Asia?
For Asia, obviously, since we are anchored by China's growth, it's really about a more stable relationship with China, relationship with the Asia-Pacific region. It's stability rather than wild swings in statements that are directed through tweets, for instance. So that stability, I think, is the one thing that we are looking forward to, so that I can go to sleep at night and not wake up in the middle, be in shock by something. So that's kind of a resumption of normality of sorts. I think is what I continue to hope from the present administration.
There's certainly no more of those midnight tweets. Deborah, what about for you?
I think it's what you get when you have competent government. So he's staffed with people who know what they're doing, who've been there before, who understand how government works, they understand its limits. And I think what you're getting in the first 100 days is a shining example of what competence in government looks like. You've vaccinated double your target. You've rolled out a stimulus package that is well in excess of what people imagine. You've got people back to work. You've got people hopeful about the future. I think that's a fantastic first 100-day start.
Being hopeful about the future is certainly a good one for all of us to take away. We've come to the end of this special edition of the Money Mind Exchange Forum on U.S. President Joe Biden's first 100 days in the White House. It remains for me to thank my guests on the panel today, Deborah Elms, Song Sang-Woon, and Victor Andres Manhit, who came to us all the way from Manila. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
A centuries-old history gives us an understanding of where China's future lies. I have a front row seat as China's new chapter unfolds, and I'm not about to miss this moment in history. Olivia Xiong, CNA, Beijing.
This May, hope's not lost, with lives being saved, history rediscovered, and new homes formed. When disaster strikes Asia, doctors from Singapore transcend borders to go into the unknown. Doctors on call.
Yeah, now we can speak.
Expatriates learn a new language and more as they call Singapore their home away from home. What lies forgotten in the past? Uncover the mysteries of Singapore's history. Into the Vault, Season 3. This May on CNA. CNA Leadership Summit. Presenting partner, Daikin.
At the CNA Leadership Summit, exploring the need for green recovery.
COVID has given us this opportunity to explore the new technologies that's going to come.
And a polar pioneer shares his story.
My brand new hip dislocated, my son was able to carry on, successfully reach the South Pole, only on renewable energy.
The 2021 CNA Leadership Summit, Part 1 on Monday and Part 2 on Tuesday. On CNA.
Official car partner, BMW. Official partner, RBC, Royal Bank of Canada. This is Asia Now.
A very good morning. It's 8 a.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 5:30 in New Delhi and 7 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Shahida Othman. At this hour, North Korea lashes out at U.S. President Joe Biden's newly completed policy review, saying it shows continued hostility towards the nuclear-armed country. India's capital, New Delhi, under an extended lockdown as the COVID-19 pandemic tightens its grip on the country. And Malaysia's COVID situation reaching a critical level, that warning from the country's top health official following a spike in cases that is stretching the health system. U.S. and North Korea tensions continue to flare up following the Biden administration's new policy review. The response from North Korea's foreign ministry has been nothing short of furious. Now, via a statement carried on state media KCNA, it says the review showed Mr. Biden's intentions of maintaining a hostile stance towards Pyongyang, adding that Washington will face worse and worse crisis if it clings to Cold War policies towards them. The North also not taking kindly to President Biden's labeling of his nuclear program a serious threat, calling it intolerable. It also accuses Mr. Biden of insulting the dignity of the country's supreme leadership with his criticism of North Korea's human rights situation. KCNA claiming the criticism is a provocation that shows the U.S. is girding itself up for an all-out showdown with North Korea and will be answered accordingly. Now, the first signs of the escalating conflict can be traced to February. The Biden administration then tried to reach out to Pyongyang through multiple channels, but with no success. Now, late March, Pyongyang went on to launch 2 suspected ballistic missiles into the sea near Japan. There are ongoing concerns that North Korea might return to testing of nuclear devices.